Ciao ragazzi, benvenuti alla nostra lezione asincrona numero 5. Welcome to our fifth lesson, asynchronous lesson number 5. And let's see what we have in the ordine della lezione oggi. Share the screen. And here we are. Lezione asincrona numero 5, ottobre 18, 2021. Okay, so we had our saluti, our greetings, okay? And we're going to practice a little bit of that. And just to remind you again to open your Connect assignments, finish your assignments. I said earlier on and on Wednesday that I will not penalize for late assignments except if the assignments are all done towards the end of the semester. And above all, listen, repeat, and practice. Everything I say, you repeat like a parrot. It's the only way that you can get speaking and using your verbal powers to start to put sentences together, because we are moving on now a little bit further. And but let's see what there is here today. So we're going to review the strategie di comunicazione that we practiced last Wednesday. Come stai? Come sta? Come va? Asking how someone is and asking your nationality. Sei italiano? Sei italiana? Di dove sei? Where are you from? Dove nato? Dove sei nato? Or dove sei nata? Asking someone where they are born. And then we are going to move further into some adjectives, because we are going to start expanding your knowledge of words that you can put together in a sentence to express how you are or what something is. And then we're going to introduce the two pillar verbs of the Italian language, the verb avere, to have, and the verb essere, to be. And let's put it the other way. The verb essere is the most important because it's to be, and the verb avere is the one to have. So they're both equally important, but first of all, we are, and then we have, right? So let's move on to our practice today of reviewing how we greet someone, how we introduce ourselves, how do we find out where we're from, where we live, okay? So with much further ado, I'm going to bring the lavagna up and we'll get into practice a little drill. Okay, let's bring the lavagna up and also our book. Okay, I believe that you can see the book and the lavagna at the same time. And this is what we did last Wednesday. Come stai? How are you? Come sta, the formal way of asking how you are. And come va? How is it going? So we'll review these two cartoons, questi due fumetti. Ciao Sofia, come stai? It's informal. Buongiorno, signor Shu. Come sta? It's informal, okay? Now let's do a little practice. We are going to do this practice all informal because this is something that we're going to do between the two of us. As you listen, you're going to also participate in this lesson in this way. So I'm going to ask you what's your name? And I said, ciao, come ti chiami? Okay, and you would respond, mi chiamo Steven, for example. Mi chiamo Steven. Now I'm gonna ask you, come ti chiami? And you're going to respond with your name. Okay, let's do a little drill here. Ciao, come ti chiami? So you responded, mi chiamo, with your name there. Okay, let's try it again. Ciao, come ti chiami? Okay, if you ask me come mi chiamo, I would say, mi chiamo Professor Fernandez, Professore Fernandez. Okay, and how are you? Come stai? How is it going? Come va? Ciao Steven, come stai? And Steven would probably say, bene, grazie. E tu? Okay, so I'm going to ask you, ciao, come stai? And you can choose any of these one. Benissimo, molto bene, bene, non c'è male, not too bad, così così, so so, and insomma, ok? Ciao, come va? You can answer. Okay, it's a little practice. It's important that you speak up, okay? So I'm going to ask you if you are Italian. And then you're going to respond, probably most likely no. So sei italiano, if you're a boy, or sei italiana, and you would respond, no, sono americano. Or if you are from another country, what would you say, for example? If you are from Poland, no. Let me put not that. Poland in Italian is Polonia. Okay? Polonia. Let's pretend you're from Poland, Polonia. No, sono polacco. And that's an adjective here already. Polacco is an adjective, okay? So sono polacco. And if you ask me, sei italiano? I would say, no. Sono venezuelano americano. Because I have dual nationality, okay? Di dove sei? So I'm asking more specifics here. Di dove sei? And you can say the place where you're from, where you live. You can say sono di Brooklyn, okay? Or if you're not from Brooklyn or you're from the Bronx, you say sono del Bronx. That's a or if you are from Manhattan, sono di Manhattan. Or if you are from another city like Chicago, you would say sono di Chicago. Okay? So let's recap. I'm going to ask you and you're going to respond, okay? Ciao, come ti chiami? Come stai? Sei italiano o italiana? Di dove sei? Oh, I missed the Chicago here. Okay. Di dove sei? Okay. And that's a little review. Okay, and we're going to move on now to our book. Now let's move forward introducing some adjectives. And what are adjectives for? What are they useful for? They're useful to describe people, places, and things. So this section, Lessico, has some very important adjectives that you can use to describe yourself, other people, or other things or places. So let's listen to some of this, okay? And you repeat, 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 okay?
Allegro.
Allegro, he's happy.
Grasso.
Grasso.
Giovane.
Giovane.
Magro.
Magro.
magro, magro,
It should say alto here and saying magro again. Let's see.
magro,
Oh, mamma. That's a mistake. It's alto. Here you should say alto. Ok?
attivo,
Attivo,
debole,
debole,
anziano,
anziano,
forte,
forte,
basso,
basso,
veloce,
veloce,
ricco,
ricco,
pigro,
pigro,
povero,
povero,
triste,
triste,
lento,
lento. So here you have some adjectives and synonyms and opposites. Like bello, carino. The opposite is brutto. Spiritoso, serio. So that you know what serious mean, and the opposite, the antonym would be spiritoso. Spirited, something like that. Buono, cattivo, divertente, noioso, grande, piccolo. So and so on. You can, in your book, you can click to all of these different adjectives and the opposites are here and repeat them, okay? So a little exercise here. Complete this sentence, for example. You say, mi chiamo, your name, sono, an adjective, e, another adjective. So I'm going to give you an example about myself, for example, using two of the adjectives that are on the lessico. Mi chiamo José, sono alto e magro. I'm tall and thin. Let's look at the adjectives here. Sono, mi chiamo José, sono alto e magro. Okay, now you do it yourself. Now it's your turn to do it, okay? Remember, do it, say it, and repeat it, okay? All right, so there's more information here in Lessico. Lessico is a section that I recommend that you really explore on your own because it's a way of enriching your vocabulary. And even though we do introduce some of it as we do our classes asynchronous or Zoom, I want you to really explore it by yourselves, because otherwise it would take us too long. And you know, all the different words in the lessico have a button to play that tells you, you know, the pronunciation, how to pronounce it. Okay. Okay. For example, here, let's stop here for a second. For example, let's do this construction here. Continue the description of yourself by naming one thing that you have and describing it with two color adjectives. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. All right, let's do an example here. Okay, mi chiamo, here you put your name. Sono, you can say your nationality and something else about yourself, and something that you have. O, un, una, un o uno. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example and then you do your own. Okay, mi chiamo José, sono americano e venezuelano. That's because I have two nationalities. Second sentence. Ho un cane. That's the nome. cane. E nero e bianco. He is black and white. O un cane e nero e bianco. Or I could say simply nero e bianco because it's just asking me for two colors here. So you give me an example. I'm gonna wait 10 seconds, okay? And you put it together. Okay, so let's move on. Let's look now at some adjectives that are cognates. Cognates mean that they are very similar to English because they share the same root, either Latin or Greek. So let's look at some examples here in the book that you will most likely identify pretty fast, okay? Contento, curioso, difficile, disordinato. Repeat after me, okay? Estroverso, generoso, intelligente, interessante, introverso, nervoso, ordinato, sincero, stressato, studioso, stupido. So let's see if we can put some sentences together. I'm going to give an example and then you come up with yours on your own, okay? So I could say, for example, mi chiamo José, sono curioso e studioso. Studioso. So I'm already saying a lot about myself. Now you try, okay? Try one sentence. We're going to go through this in class anyway, but I want you to practice a little bit ahead of our class on Wednesday. For example, I could also say il libro è interessante from this list. Or, for example, if we go back to the dog, il cane è curioso e intelligente. So my dog is very curious and intelligent. Il cane è curioso e intelligente. You can say things about yourself. You can add your name. Mi chiamo. Sono estroverso, if you are extroverted, e generoso, generous. Try something else. So you're starting to learn how to say things about yourself. All right. Now let's listen to some young Italians use some interesting adjectives that they use very often. Let's bring the screen back. Okay, there are three: Matilde, Guia, and Emanuele. Okay, and I believe they're Romans, not only because of what you see behind them, but also a little bit their accents. Very subtle though, very, very subtle. Okay, let's listen. So, we just talked about cognates. A lot, if not almost all of these are actually cognates. So prick up your ear, see what you can catch, and then we'll discuss it.
Quali sono 5 o 6 aggettivi che usi spesso?
Which are the 5 or 6 adjectives that you use often. Okay, think about that, because then in class, I'm gonna ask you, and then we're gonna do a little game with those adjectives that you prefer to use, okay? Let's listen now.
Buono, cattivo, interessante, simpatico, bello.
Buono, cattivo, interessante, simpatico, bello. Okay, let's see. Let me bring this here. She said buono, which we know is good. And cattivo is the opposite of buono. Cattivo, intelligente, interessante. This is a cognate. Intelligente is also a cognate. And she said bello, which is something we use in Italian a lot. Bello. Sei bello. Ciao bello. Okay, let's listen to Guia. What does she say?
Allora, antipatico, stupido, carino, intelligente, bello e grandioso.
Allora, she said antipatico, carino, you repeat, stupido, intelligente, bello, grandioso. Let's look at it here. Because she said antipatico. When someone is not pleasant to you, you can say è antipatico or è antipatica. And that is the opposite of simpatico, which we use a lot in Italian, simpatico. For example, I can say Matilde è simpatica, but Emanuele è antipatico, for example. So, and simpatico is very similar to sympathetic, but that's a totally different meaning in English. So she said antipatico, carino. That's something we use a lot in Italian, carino. Something is nice, lovely, we say carino, okay? Oh, here it is, she already had it written down. Let's look for another one. Stupido. Okay, we know what that is. Bello, she uses bello too. Italians use bello a lot. And grandioso. Sounds like grandeur. It's grand, grandioso. Oh, there it is, it's written there too. What is one that she's not? She has intelligente, she also has intelligente. Now let's listen to Emanuele, okay?
Stupendo, importante, interessante, fantastico. Bello e troppo scontato.
Okay, he says stupendo, importante, interessante, and fantastico. And then at the end he said, bello e troppo scontato. I'll tell you that in a second. So he said stupendo, importante, you repeat after me, interessante, fantastico, we know what that means, and he said that bello è troppo scontato. It's too obvious, bello, because they use it a lot. So he said doesn't really count. But anyway, these are some very, very good adjectives that you can add to your vocabulary and, you know, put some sentences together, simple sentences. For example, let's do an example. Let's choose a couple of these adjectives. Okay, let's see. Let's choose two from Emanuele. Il libro è interessante. I can say that about a book. Il libro è interessante. That's not the way of the accent. I have to get it from a keyboard. The accent goes this way. Ok, il libro è interessante. Il film è stupendo. Stupendo is great. That's not quite a cognate word, but fantastico is, interessante is, importante is, bello, we know what it is. Let's make 2 sentences. So now you make a sentence choosing one of Emanuele's adjectives, okay? I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay, let's choose 2 adjectives from Guya's list. Okay, I'm gonna use one. You may disagree with me for political reasons, but here I am. Mr. Trump è antipatico. It's a personal observation, okay? Il cane è carino. He's a lovely dog. Okay. Let's choose 2 adjectives from Matilde. Il caffè è buono. Okay. Let's use cattivo, the antonym, the opposite. Let me think of something that it's bad. Just came to my head, but you know, who cares? It's just we're learning to use language. Le droghe sono cattive. That's plural from cattivo. Cattivo, singular, and cattive, plural, because the droghe is plural here. So droga is singular. Okay, droghe is plural. Le droghe sono cattive. That's my opinion too. Let's look for another example of cattivo. Yeah. Il diavolo è cattivo. The devil is evil. Okay, so these are some interesting adjectives you can use to express many, many things with very little language. Okay, all right.